Hi everyone, welcome to a video all about how I'm going to help you organize your entire life. So without further ado, let's hop into it. And the first thing we need to do is understand that life is separated into events that have a specific date and time, tasks that have a specific date, but not necessarily a specific time, and then tasks that don't have a specific date nor time. I'm going to be calling these ones my running to-do list for the purposes of this video. And from there, some of these events and tasks are going to be reoccurring, like paying your rent every single month. And then some are not, like if you get invited to a friend's party. And this video is all about trying to come up with a simple process to track all of these in a meaningful way. So the next thing to do would be to gather a few tools to help you out, whether you're more of an electronic organization person or pen and paper. And for example, if you're an electronic person, you might want to use a combination of alarms, your calendar app, and your notes app. And if you lean more towards pen and paper, for example, you can use a sticky note in place of an alarm. You can use an actual physical calendar instead of an app, and you can use a good old-fashioned notebook in place of your notes app. And of course, it's not an exhaustive list. You can use whiteboards and corkboards. There's a whole host of tools that can help get your life organization on autopilot. And just to share for me personally, I'm actually opting for electronic tools lately. I've been using my notes app for running to-do list. I've been using Google Calendar for my tasks and events. And then I've been using the alarm on my phone as a redundancy for really important events that I don't want to miss, like a doctor's appointment. Okay, so most people are probably already utilizing at least one of these tools, but if I was starting from scratch, I would write down every single event, every single task that I could possibly think of in my notes app. This would be something akin to a brainstorming phase, and once I had that list going, I would populate it with a few extra details like the time and date if it's an event, the date if it's a task, and whether or not these events and tasks are reoccurring. From there, I would populate my calendar app with the events, and again, remember those have a specific date and time. I would make them reoccurring if need be. That's easy to do on a calendar app. And I would do the same with my tasks. I would put those into my calendar, and again, tasks for me have a specific date. Sometimes this date is a little bit loose, which is actually why I like having it on my calendar app as a task specifically, because it's going to roll over day by day, which is just a small feature that I appreciate. And by process of elimination, everything else is just my running to-do list. And those items I store in my notes app anyways. And again, just to reiterate, my to-do list, it does not have a specific date or time. It's just things that I generally want to get done. And speaking of my notes app, I don't just keep a to-do list. I actually have many running ongoing lists that assist me in my day-to-day life organization. So for example, I have a running grocery list where I just click if we're getting low on that item in the kitchen. And that just makes my life so much easier when I head to the grocery store. Same thing with my essentials. I have a running list there as well. So when anything is getting extremely low or it's empty, I will click it. And when I go to run errands, just makes it so much easier. And to meet the standard to actually get into my notes app, it just has to impact me on a day-to-day basis, like groceries and essentials. But then there's another entire section of documents that I reference fairly frequently that aren't impactful to my day-to-day life. And those ones I house in a different app on my phone. For me, those are in the Google Docs app. But again, for you, this could just be a separate notebook, a notepad, whatever method fits best for you. So an example of a document that I reference fairly frequently, but not day to day, is our budget. I keep an extremely simplified budget on Google Docs, and I find I only reference it from time to time. Now, bringing this full circle, what I actually will do is put in about twice a year on my Google Calendar a task that reminds me to update my budget on Google Docs. So that's kind of how this whole system can come together and how I keep my documents and everything that I need updated. And then from there are some documents that I rarely reference that I might just need to keep and organize, but I'm not reaching for too often. They might even just be for my situational awareness. They are usually in PDF form, and those, again, I house in a different tool, and that is my Google Drive. So in the app, I've created a bunch of folders, which I've just populated with documents that I rarely need. And if it's safe and secure to do so, I will house those on my Google Drive. But let's be real, I don't think 100% of what we need can ever be housed on electronic tools. Maybe for you, actually, that's the case. I haven't found that to be the case for me. I'm always gonna have some physical documents, and they're typically of a similar nature, things just for my situational awareness that I rarely reference. And for those, I would just find a safe and secure spot in my home to house those documents, and of course, keep them nice and organized. next. All right, my friends, that is it. I have taken you through my entire life organization. Everything from running to-do lists, like getting my clothes tailored at some point, to a task, like taking out recycling on a specific date, to an event, like my Bible study at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. And then I've also explained my strategy with either documents that I've created or that I need to keep on hand, for ones that I reference fairly frequently to ones that I reference a lot less frequently. So my friends, that is it. But now it comes to the point in the video where you have to ask yourself, why even do this? Why take on this pursuit? And your why is gonna look different for me, but I'll just share that for me personally. It was actually so I could kind of set my life on autopilot, so I stopped needing to think so much about this stuff so that I could finally focus on what was important in my life. To be honest, I used to be an extremely disorganized, fairly chaotic person, and I felt very stressed out and overwhelmed living in that chaotic state. So for me personally, I did want to bring back a little bit of order, and this helped to reduce some of those additional stressors that I was feeling. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to mention is, oddly enough, this system actually ended up saving me time. You might think that coming up with all these detailed lists and going through your events and tasks might be extremely time consuming, and it is. Well, maybe not extremely, but it is fairly time consuming to get up and running. But as time goes on and my schedule was almost on autopilot, I ended up saving a lot of time and mental energy. Just to give a brief example, I have every single person that I love and cherish, I have their birthday on my calendar. Instead of running around last minute, scrambling to find a good gift idea or sending them a card in time, I make sure to be prepared. So maybe instead of like scrambling, going to 10 different stores trying to find the perfect gift for someone, I had already thought about it and I just specifically went out and got one thing. That's just a small example of how having my life organized has saved me time. And another thing that I do have to mention is the key to success with this organizational scheme, or really any for that matter, is ongoing maintenance. But have no fear, because I've already mentioned some tools that can really help in this matter. Like you can set up calendar alerts or specific tasks to help you keep things updated over time. And I also don't want this video to get misconstrued as a prescription. This is by no means the only way. Like you can be an Excel spreadsheet person and you can have a super nuanced, detailed budget, and that really serves you well. I love that for you. So again, this is not an exhaustive list, nor of the categories and ways that I have, decided to separate things, nor is it of the tools that one can use. What I'm hoping to do is just share what has genuinely worked in my life. Some people might think that this is a far oversimplification or far undersimplification, but for me, this is the sweet spot, and I'm hoping that even just one tiny little thing in this video might have piqued your interest, or you might find genuinely valuable in your life. Of course, if not, that's totally okay too, but that's the whole reason why I'm doing this video, is just to try to help in a small way, because keeping this life organization system has certainly helped me. So I've never done a video like this. If you like it, please give it a like. If you like me, if you like the content that I'm producing on this channel, then definitely consider subscribing. We would love to have you here. And thank you for taking the time to be here, and I hope to catch you in my next minimalism video. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.